Orange. You've probably had one. Those bright little segmenty citrus fruits that are also the same color as their name. That's not an orange, that's a mandarin. I know, Trader Joe's didn't have any oranges today. Sucks. So what came first? The fruit or the word for the color? The fruit came first. Okay, I'm trying to set up some mystery for the video so people stay to the end of the video for engagement. That's assuming someone clicked on it in the first place. Anyway, stay tuned to find out more. You'll be glad you did. An interesting thing happens with color words in that every language seems to add them in a particular order. Anthropological linguists Brent Berlin and Paul Kay have found that the first two color words to appear in any given language are one representing dark, like black, and one representing light, like white. After those, the next one seems to always be red. If a language has only 3 color words, it's going to be those 3. The fourth one would be yellow or green, then blue, then brown, and after all those, purple and orange, and pink and gray, and so on. Of course, this doesn't mean that before the color term existed, people just couldn't see orange. They just had a different way of describing it. Look at these 5 colors. If you didn't have a word for that middle one, what would you call it? Well, if you had a word for red and a word for yellow, you might find yourself in the same position as Chaucer in the 14th century. In Geoffrey Chaucer's Nun's Priest's Tale, the rooster Chanticleer dreams of a threatening fox invading the barnyard whose color was betwixt yellow and reed. So it was an orange fox. Yes, but in the 1390s, Chaucer didn't exactly have a word for that. Why didn't he just write the word orange? Because it didn't exist yet! He didn't want it bad enough. Sidebar, my friend Susie makes fun of the way I say orange because I'm from New Jersey, so sometimes if I think of it beforehand, I'll just say yellow-red to troll her so she can't make fun of me. I like Susie.
Orange.
And even before Chaucer's time, between the 5th and 12th centuries, people who spoke Old English used their word for yellow-red, which I guess I'll try to pronounce. Jelloreed. Jelloreed? So let's fast forward a little bit to the early 1500s when Portuguese traders brought a particular fruit back from India. You guessed it, sweet oranges. They called them golden apples, which, are they sure they tried apples before? I mean, it's like comparing apples and oranges. Stop. Okay, fine, we'll get back to that later. By the 1590s, another obscure author by the name of William Shakespeare definitely used the word orange to describe the color of an orange tawny beard and a blackbird's orange tawny bill. But he was using the fruit to brighten an otherwise duskier brown, sort of like how we'd say cherry red lips, and not orange in a color of its own. People would also say of orange color, but they needed the word color there to make sure they were understood. Then, in 1595, we see one of the very first uses of orange as a color term in its own right, without reference to the fruit. In a short dialogue by poet Anthony Copley, a doctor tries to calm a dying woman by telling her she would go even as a leaf that can no longer bide on the tree. She didn't seem comforted by that and replied, "What? Like an orange leaf?" Referring to autumn leaves falling and not the leaves of an orange tree. But this is definitely an outlier since the word orange didn't come into widespread use until 20 years later. Damn, so she's the OG and she didn't live to see her impact? Well, Copley wrote the words. The woman was just a character in the poem. So she's not even real? That sucks. It's like she died twice. She didn't. She didn't exist, so she never died. You have to live to be able to... Wow, spoilers! Anyway, tulips were becoming super popular in the early 1600s, which eventually led to a crash of the entire tulip market in 1637. But this video isn't about Tulip Mania, okay? It's about orange. And you know what color tulips sometimes are? Pink, white, purple, red, I think. Orange! They're orange! I was getting there. In an account in 1616, orange being a color of tulip that could be grown was clearly mentioned, and by the late 1660s, Isaac Newton included it as one of the 7 colors of the spectrum, giving us one of my favorite acronyms, Roy G. Biv. Love Roy. Can you believe indigo was an official color over 300 years before orange was? That's wild. Yeah. The first known use of the word indigo was in 1289. That's wild. I know! So back to the Portuguese bringing oranges back to Europe from India. In Sanskrit, this fruit was known as the Naranja, from the Dravidian root word naru, meaning fragrant. So on its journey to and throughout Europe, the name slightly changed to Laranja in Portuguese, Naranja in Spanish, and orange in English. Where'd the first N go, you ask? I didn't. It was probably super easy to confuse an orange with an orange. And you can imagine the disappearance of that initial N sound happening a few times, which it did, and I'll go over that in a future video. It also happened in Italian with arancia, and in French with orange. And in southern India, the Tamil language, in the Dravidian language family, borrowed back the word for the fruit to which it lent its root, which sounds pretty identical to English. Orange. Okay, that's actually super interesting. Aren't you glad you stayed to the end? See, that joke works way better when you pronounce it my way. It doesn't work either way, it sucks. If you're interested in learning more, I highly suggest you check out the sources that I listed in the description box below. If you'd like to get early videos, extra videos, and support the channel in the process, please go to patreon.com/soundlyawake. Okay, where did I throw that Mandarin before? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with a new video. Okay, bye.